Today we're doing a twofer on Cast Iron Wednesday. I am making some very carnivore keto chili. All meat, no bean. I've got a cast iron Cuisinart porcelain coated Dutch oven as well as my Lodge Dutch oven, which I am preparing everything in. 1.6 kilos of Jimmy Dean breakfast sausage. You can adjust the amount based on how much chili you're planning on making. You cook this down, cook out the water, get the meat nice and cooked and browned. So sausage looks nice and cooked and starting to render out the fat. I'm going to add that over here into the larger pot with the hamburger and finish cooking it the rest of the way down with the hamburger. This is where everything will end up. At the end of this, we'll combine everything in the larger pot. And to the lovely renderings and fat from the sausage in the Lodge cast iron pot, I'm going to add 1.5 pounds of bottom roast cubed up into bite-sized pieces. So I did put a little much in at one time, taking a little bit for the extra moisture to boil off. Usually I do it in smaller batches, but I'm trying to expedite this process. So I just put it all in at once, and it's still browning up nice. I just let it set until it gets nice and brown on that side, then stir it. The sausage and the ground meat, I take a potato smasher and run through all the meat when it's cooked to break it down into smaller and bite-sized pieces. You don't want big chunks. You want everything that you scoop up out of this chili to be able to fit in a single regular person spoon. Now, albeit, I'd use a mixing spoon, but that's just me. All right, so to the big pot, we add the steak, and in the renderings and the grease, we're going to add the onion and the celery. And we're going to cook that down until the celery's a little tender and the onions are translucent. Almost there. So you cook this down until the celery and the onions become soft and the onions are a little translucent. You can also tell when you're close when you can really smell the celery and the onions blossoming. Then we're going to add in the garlic here pretty soon. And again, we're going to cook it up until the garlic is a little brown and cooks down a little bit. And then we add our entire lot of chili seasoning. All right, so we got some toasty bits in there starting to brown on the bottom, and now we add the garlic. So minced garlic. We're going to cook this up until the garlic aroma and smell is really getting pungent and potent from it cooking and toasting. Garlic is nice and toasty, so we're going to add an entire can of tomato paste. We're going to cook that in and stir it. And once that tomato paste starts to cook a little bit, we're going to dump in all of our seasoning. So we let the tomato paste cook a little bit, and you can really smell it when it starts to cook down and the moisture starts to leave it. You can smell that tomato smell. It's just amazing. So the next two steps are really quick. We're going to let this heat up, and then we're going to add all the spices, and we're going to mix those in, and it's going to get really thick really fast. As soon as you start to smell all of those spices blossom, you add the beef broth to keep them all from burning. And in goes the spice mix. Okay, so all the seasoning and broth have been added and stirred up and mixed together. We're going to let this boil and we're going to render this down to half its volume to really intensify this base. All right, so you get the diced tomatoes and the tomato sauce stirred in, and then you just turn it to about medium. Now, normally I would dump this in a crock pot, and I would finish it off in a crock pot overnight. But I'm hungry and I want to eat this today, so I'm going to keep it on the stove pot in my beautiful Cast Iron Wednesday Cuisinart pot, and I'm going to cook it on medium to high for about an hour or so. So I know regular chili probably does this as well, but this is part of why I call this keto chili. Because look at all of that fat oil that is separating. So I'm going to give this a nice stir, mix it all back together. All right, let's dish some of this up. Some cheddar cheese sprinkles just for fun. Wouldn't be a proper meal without some candlelight. Some proper utensils. Go with the mess kit. Let's give it a try. All right. Let's give this a shot. Oh, that's good. It's good. Keto chili. Thanks for watching. Recipe is in the notes below. Have an amazing rest of your week.